Well, let's dive right into this explainer with a pretty wild question. What if your losing stocks are actually making you money? No, seriously. Are you completely missing out on the hidden returns in your portfolio simply because, well, you aren't looking at the right data? It sounds kind of crazy, but as we're going to see today, it is a very real possibility for a lot of investors out there.
Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are systematically unlocking the true power of dividend data. We're going to dig in and uncover the actual hidden performance of your trades using the tools right there on the TradingView platform. Honestly, by the time we wrap up, you're going to be looking at your charts in a totally different way.
We've got a great roadmap ahead of us today. We'll quickly cover the basics of dividends, move right into charting those payouts, reveal the absolute superpower of adjusted charts, screen for high yields, and finally build out your complete dividend strategy. Let's get right into it.
Okay, Section 1, the basics of dividends. Before we start playing around with the platform's advanced visual tools, we really just need to lock in exactly what it is we're looking at. At its core, a dividend is a reward. It is literal, actual money in your pocket that a company pays out to its investor base. Usually this runs on a quarterly schedule, so once every 3 months, you're getting rewarded simply for holding on to a company's shares. It's essentially the company's way of saying, hey, thanks for investing with us. Building on that, we have the dividend yield, and you absolutely need to grasp this one. The dividend yield is the percentage you're being paid relative to what the share currently costs. And here is where a really crucial inverse relationship kicks in. If a company's share price drops, but they keep paying the exact same amount of cash out, your percentage yield actually goes up. Moving on to Section 2, charting dividend payouts. Let's hop over to the platform and see how this builds visually. We'll use Verizon as our ongoing case study for this explainer. Finding this data on your TradingView chart is incredibly seamless. It's just 3 super simple steps. Right-click your chart or hit the Settings wheel, select the Events tab, and then just toggle on Show Dividends on Chart. Literally instantly, your chart is going to populate with these clickable bright blue D icons right below the price action. Those represent every single historical payout.
But the real magic happens when you actually click one of those D icons because you get the exact tangible math. For instance, looking at Verizon here, you'll see the ex-dividend date in October, a payout amount of roughly 66.5 cents per share, and the actual payment date in November. The math is simple, but man is it powerful. If you held 100 shares during this time, you'd collect a $66.50 payout in pure cash just for holding the stock.
Within that exact same menu, you can click More VZ Dividends to pull up an awesome historical view. And this brilliantly illustrates how you can sort of act like a researcher. You can look back at past years to spot the trends. Like if you notice payouts hitting in early January across 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, well, you can confidently predict the timing of the next upcoming payout dates, like the one in April. You're not guessing anymore, you're analyzing real patterns. You can also chart the actual yield percentage directly alongside your stock's price. You just open the indicators menu up top, search for dividend yield percentage, and plot it right there. The big takeaway here is just to make sure you know whether you're charting on a quarterly or an annual basis. Quarterly shows you the yield of that specific 3-month payout, while annual gives you the combined yearly rate. Both are super valuable, it just depends on the time frame you're analyzing. All right, Section 3, the power of adjusted charts. I love this part because this concept completely shatters the way you might traditionally look at a stock's historical performance. Let's check out a 5-year trend for Verizon. If you're just looking at a standard unadjusted percentage chart, Verizon looks like it's been in a pretty ugly downtrend, showing a heavy 28% loss. But wait a minute, remember, they've been paying new cash that entire time. When you factor in all the dividends you collected along that 5-year journey, you're actually only down 5%. That completely changes the psychological impact of holding that stock, doesn't it?
So how do you see this reality on your screen? It's right there at the very bottom of your chart. By simply clicking that little ADJ button, which stands for Adjusted, TradingView instantly recalculates the entire chart for you. You stop looking at isolated price movement, and you start seeing your true total return, with all those gathered dividends added right back into the mix. To really cement this massive paradigm shift, let's zoom all the way out. Let's look at Verizon since it went public back in 1983. If you just look at standard share price appreciation over those decades, it's up roughly 415%. Now that's a solid return, sure, but maybe not the most mind-blowing percentage you've ever seen for a multi-decade hold. But what happens when we hit that ADJ button for a timeline this long? Boom! The return explodes to an
unbelievable 3,500%. That is the compounding power of dividends over time, plain and simple. When you adjust for the dividends collected since 1983, the difference is absolutely staggering. And honestly, this is exactly why factoring in total return is quite literally one of the most vital features for any investor using the platform.
Section 4. Screening for high dividends. So, the crucial point now is we know the massive impact of dividends, but how do we actively go out and find these opportunities in the market today without endlessly clicking through thousands of charts?
Well, this is where you transition from passive charting to active discovery. By navigating to products at the top, then screeners, and selecting Stock 2.0, you open up TradingView's massive, highly customizable new screening tool. Instead of manually hunting for stocks, you can progressively stack custom filters to narrow the entire global stock market down to exactly what fits your unique strategy. You can start by demanding a dividend yield of 5% or more. Then, to weed out the super small companies, you can set the market capitalization to $2 billion and above. You can restrict the region to US only. And finally, just to make sure the company is actually profitable and reasonably valued, you can set a price to earnings, or PE ratio, between 15 and 25.
Just look at how incredibly efficiently this works in real time. If you only screen for a 5% yield, you get this massive, overwhelming list of over 1,300 companies. But by applying those precise stacked filters we just talked about, you instantly cut that giant list down to a highly curated, easily manageable list of just 91 actionable symbols. I mean, it literally does the heavy lifting for you. And finally, Section 5. Mastering your dividend strategy. Let's bring all of this together and wrap things up by summarizing exactly what needs to be in your daily trading toolkit moving forward.
Okay, here is your complete workflow. You now know to toggle events and settings to get those blue D icons right on your chart. You know how to search the indicators menu to plot your yield percentage. You know to always, and I mean absolutely always, utilize that ADJ button to reveal your true historical returns. You can quickly explore the Markets tab for high dividend presets, and you know how to build deep, highly specific custom queries using Stock Screener 2.0. Mastering these core features transforms you from someone who just watches isolated share prices into a smart investor who factors total return into every single trade setup.
Of course, if you ever need a quick refresher on any definitions, like exactly how dividend yield behaves when the markets get a little volatile, the TradingView Help Center search bar is your quickest path to clarity. Just type in dividend and you'll find a wealth of comprehensive reading right at your fingertips.
Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. We've covered a ton of ground today, and hopefully, you're seeing the market through a much wider lens now. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If you logged into your account right now, pulled up your absolute worst performing stock, and clicked that Adjust button, how much hidden return would you uncover? It's time to open up your portfolio and find out exactly what your true returns really are.